Okay. My name is Brad Gardner, and I am a judge in this court.
Mi nombre es Brad Gardner, soy el juez que lleva a cabo esta audiencia.
I am not here to conduct a trial of your case or to take a plea in your case.
No estoy aquí para llevar a cabo el juicio en su caso o para que usted se declare.
Give me 1 second. I'll just read that last line again.
Yes, Your Honor.
I am not here to conduct a trial of your case or to take a plea in your case.
Voy a repetir la última frase. No estoy aquí para llevar a cabo el juicio en su caso o para que usted se declare tampoco.
I am here to inform you of the charges that have been filed against you,
Estoy aquí para informarle de cuáles son las faltas o cargos que tiene en su contra,
to advise you of certain rights,
para darle explicación de los derechos que usted tiene,
to set bail on those offenses that I am authorized to set bail,
para imponer una fianza en aquellas faltas o cargos que usted tenga que yo tengo responsabilidad para hacerlo,
to schedule a preliminary hearing,
para darle la próxima cita para la audiencia preliminar
and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney.
y para determinar si usted necesita la ayuda de un abogado.
You have the right to remain silent and say nothing.
Usted tiene derecho a mantenerse en silencio y no decir nada.
But should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you if your case goes to trial.
Pero si usted renuncia a este derecho, cualquier cosa que usted diga va a ser usada en su contra si su caso va a juicio.
So please don't discuss the facts of your case.
Así que por favor no diga nada acerca de los hechos de su causa.
During this and all other proceedings, you have the following rights.
Durante esta audiencia y las audiencias futuras, usted tiene los siguientes derechos.
The right to the presumption of innocence,
El derecho a la presunción de inocencia,
the right to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors.
usted tiene derecho a que se le entregue la acusación formal si es un delito federal o mayor, o una acusación solamente si es un delito menor.
The right to a speedy and public trial by jury.
Usted tiene derecho a ir a juicio en frente a un jurado.
The right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you.
Usted tiene derecho a escuchar y hacerle preguntas a los testigos que vinieran a testificar en su contra.
The right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf.
Tiene derecho a obligar al tribunal a presentar testigos en su favor.
Right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense.
Usted también tendría el derecho de presentar presentar testimonio o presentar evidencias y testigos en su favor.
The right to have an attorney represent you if you qualify. I'm sorry, the right to have an attorney represent you.
Usted tiene derecho también a tener un abogado que lo represente.
If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify.
Si usted no tiene dinero para pagar o costear el gasto de un abogado, le haríamos una entrevista para ver si califica para que le pongamos un abogado de oficio gratuito.
Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release from jail.
Algunos de ustedes van a poder pagar fianza para poder salir de la cárcel. Algunos de ustedes van a tener ciertas restricciones en esas fianzas.
This bond may be cash, commercial, or property.
Esta fianza usted la puede pagar a través de dinero en efectivo, a través de una propiedad o a través de una compañía de fianzas.
If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond and fees in cash to the sheriff's office.
Si alguna persona en su nombre va a pagar la fianza en efectivo, va a tener que mandar o traer todo el dinero de la fianza aquí a la comisaría.
The sheriff's office will hold the cash and return it at the end of your case.
Ese dinero de la fianza va a quedar aquí en el tribunal hasta que su caso termine.
If you use a commercial bonding company, someone will have to pay a fee to the company for their service.
Si usted usa una compañía de fianzas para pagarla, esas compañías le van a cobrar cierto dinero por el uso o el servicio.
The fee will not be returned.
Y ese gasto que le cobran no se lo van a devolver.
I don't know what fee will be charged, but it's usually based on a percentage of the bond.
Yo no sé cuánto es que cobran estas compañías, pero en general es un porcentaje del costo total de la fianza.
Finally, if you use property to post a bond,
Y por último, si usted pone una propiedad como garantía para pagar la fianza,
the property will need to have a net equity equal to 3 times the bond amount.
esa propiedad que usted pone como garantía de fianza tiene que tener una ganancia 3 veces mayor al dinero de la fianza.
Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places.
Algunos de ustedes van a tener una fianza con ciertas condiciones, como ser no acercarse a ciertas personas o no ir a ciertos lugares.
This special condition will be provided to you on a separate form.
Estas condiciones especiales se las vamos a dar a las personas que así las tengan en un papel impreso.
You will also be prohibited from contacting the victim while you are in jail.
También usted va a tener prohibido, mientras usted esté en la cárcel, ponerse en contacto con la víctima en este caso.
If you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you could remain in jail until your trial.
Si usted no cumple con estos requisitos que le acabo de mencionar, su fianza será revocada y usted permanecerá en la cárcel hasta que su caso termine.
You could also receive additional felony charges.
Y también se le impondrán nuevas causas o cargos de mayores o felonías.
It is important to note that if someone is listed as a victim in your case, that person will not be allowed to post your bond.
Es importante que sepa que si en su causa hay una víctima nombrada, esa persona no puede venir a la comisaría a pagar la fianza en su nombre.
Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail.
Algunos de ustedes tienen faltas o cargos en su contra que yo no tengo permiso o autoridad para imponer fianza.
In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you will be informed of that date.
Si ese es su caso, le diremos cuál va a ser la próxima audiencia que va a tener frente a un juez del Tribunal Superior.
If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond at this time.
También, si usted está actualmente bajo libertad condicional o probatoria, yo tampoco le puedo dar imponer una fianza ahora.
Whether bond is appropriate in your case will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest.
Una vez más, si usted está bajo libertad condicional, va a tener una audiencia frente a su oficial de libertad condicional y después de esa audiencia, si se puede, se le impondrá la fianza.
The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations against you.
La audiencia preliminar o de causa probable es para eso, para determinar si había causa probable para arrestarlo e imponerle las multas o los cargos que tiene en su contra.
The standard at this stage is very low.
El estándar o probar eso es bien bajo.
A judge determining whether a charge goes forward at this stage only has to determine that it is possible that the crime occurred.
En esa audiencia, el juez solamente debe determinar si los cargos en su contra fueron fue causado posiblemente, o si posiblemente usted cometió ese delito.
Everyone has the ability to waive their right to a preliminary hearing.
Todos ustedes tienen el derecho de renunciar a esa audiencia preliminar o de causa probable.
However, you should speak to a lawyer first if you are unsure about whether it is appropriate to waive your preliminary hearing.
Pero si usted no está seguro si quiere renunciar o no a esa audiencia de causa probable, quizás tendría que hablar con un abogado que le dé consejería en ese sentido.
If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived.
Ahora, si usted puede salir bajo fianza, esa audiencia preliminar se cancela.
You will receive notice at the address you give of your next court date.
Le vamos a mandar, si usted sale bajo fianza, le vamos a mandar por correo a la dirección que usted nos dejó cuándo va a ser su próxima audiencia.
Finally, I need everyone to raise their right hand.
Ahora levanten todos la mano derecha.
Do you swear or affirm any testimony you provide during this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Señor, ¿usted jura que el testimonio que va a dar hoy aquí va a ser la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad?
Yes, sí.
Yes.
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Kufre, and then we'll go to Mr. Flores Morales. Are you Ms. Kufre?
Yes, sí.
So you're not, she needs an interpreter? You need
Yeah.
interpreter? Usted necesita. Okay.
Yo sé un poco, pero necesito.
Yes, I know a little English, but I need an interpreter. That's good.
Ma'am, you've been charged with one count of battery.
Señora, usted ha sido acusada con un cargo de agresión.
I've set a bond at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
La fianza va a ser de $5,000. ¿Usted cree que puede pagar esa fianza?
Yo no tengo ese dinero.
I do not have that money.
Ma'am, you should contact a bonding company and tell them what you're charged with, and they will tell you what fee they'll charge. It'll be somewhere around 10% of this bond amount, which is about $500.
Le aconsejaría, o le diría que se pusiera en contacto con alguna de estas compañías comerciales de fianza. En general, ellos cobran un servicio que es el 10% de lo que es la fianza. En su caso, sería unos $500.
I'm putting a stay away provision on your bond to stay away from Valerie Furcar.
En su fianza va a haber algo especial, que quiere decir que usted no se puede poner en contacto con la señora Valerie. The last name was?
Furcar Files.
Furcar.
Furcar.
Furcar. Con esa persona usted no puede tener ningún contacto.
I understand that she's your daughter.
Entiendo que es su hija.
But in these circumstances where there's an allegation of family violence battery, we place a stay away provision on the bond.
Entiendo que es su hija, pero cuando hay alegatos de violencia familiar, tengo que imponer esta restricción y de estar alejada de esta persona que fue nombrada víctima.
This condition can be changed later, but we don't want whatever altercation led to your appearing before me to start up once you go back home.
Esta condición en el futuro se puede cambiar, pero por ahora quiero mantener esta orden de alejamiento con la víctima para que las cosas no incrementen o se empeoren si usted sale bajo fianza.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
¿Usted quiere que la entreviste ahora para ver si califica para que le pongamos un abogado de oficio gratuito?
Sí, y quiero hacer una pregunta.
Yes, and I would like to ask you a question.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. What is your question?
Usted califica, así que le vamos a poner un abogado gratuito. ¿Cuál es la pregunta?
Nosotros vivimos en la misma casa.
We do live in the same house.
I understand that. That's going to be an issue that you're going to have to get resolved. But for now, you can't go around your daughter.
Entiendo ese problema. Es algo que usted va a tener que solucionar. Por ahora, usted no puede estar cerca de su hija.
Yo tengo que ir a la casa a buscar mis cosas, por lo menos. Mi carro y mi llave.
I will need to stop by the house at least to get some personal belongings, my car, my keys.
When you bond out, you need to let the sheriff's department know that you're gonna need to get items from your home, and they will make an appointment with you where they will be present while you remove some of your items.
Si usted puede pagar la fianza y salir, ahí mismito usted tiene que decirles que tiene esta condición especial, que necesita ir a su casa a buscar sus cosas, así que ellos la van a acompañar en ese momento o le van a decir cuándo es que la pueden acompañar a su casa para que usted retire sus cosas.
¿Puedo tratar de llamar a mi esposo para ver si él puede conseguir ese dinero?
Can I try to see if my husband can come up with the money?
Yes, you will be allowed to use the telephone when you go back downstairs.
Sí, ahora cuando terminemos aquí, la lleven abajo, a usted le van a dar permiso a hacer un llamado telefónico.
Any other questions, ma'am?
¿Tiene alguna otra pregunta, señora?
Voy a salir hoy.
Will I go out today? Get out today?
Yes, ma'am. If you make the arrangements to post your bond, you will be able to get out today. When this hearing is over, I send the paperwork back to the sheriff's department.
Sí, si usted puede contratar el servicio de estas compañías de fianza, usted va a poder salir hoy. Yo los papeles ahorita ya los estoy firmando y ya los estoy entregando a la comisaría para que se haga el proceso.
Any other questions, ma'am?
¿Alguna otra pregunta?
Yes, sí.
Yes.
Okay, what's your question?
¿Cuál es
Esa
la pregunta?
casa donde vivimos es mi casa. ¿Por qué no se va ella?
The house where we live is my house. Why doesn't she live?
She can leave if she wants, but right now she's considered a victim of a crime and I can't force her to leave.
Ella se puede ir si ella quiere. Lamentablemente, ahorita ella en la causa en su contra está nombrada como víctima. Entonces yo no la puedo obligar a irse.
Any other questions, ma'am?
¿Alguna otra pregunta? No.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Ya se puede ir, señora.
Mr. Flores?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Flores, what is your true and correct legal name?
Señor Flores, ¿cuál es su nombre correcto, legal?
Alex Benjamín Flores Morales.
Okay.
Alex Benjamín Flores Morales.
So, sir, you've been charged with one count of simple battery.
Señora, usted lo han acusado con un solo cargo de agresión simple.
I'm also setting the bond at $5,000.
Su fianza es de $5,000.
And I'm also putting a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a Daisy Contreras.
Y tiene una condición especial en esta fianza de no acercarse a Daisy Contreras.
Do you believe you can post this bond, sir?
¿Usted cree que va a poder pagar esta fianza, señor?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer, or do you want to represent yourself?
¿Usted va a contratar un abogado? ¿Quiere que vea si califica para el abogado gratuito o usted cree que se va a defender a sí mismo?
Voy a contratar a un abogado.
I will hire a lawyer.
Okay, do you have any questions for me, sir?
¿Tiene alguna pregunta para el juez?
Sí, creo que tenía otro cargo por no licencia.
Yes, I think I have another charge for no license.
The only charge I have right now is a simple battery charge before me.
El único cargo que tengo enfrente mío es el de agresión simple.
Ok, muchas gracias. Otra pregunta, si pago la fianza hoy salgo, ¿verdad?
Okay, thank you so much. One more question. If I pay the bond today, I will be able to get out today?
Yes, but hold on one second. You are correct. But the second set of charges is under a different name. It's Alex Morales Flores.
Sí. Sí, a su pregunta. Otra cosa, usted tenía razón. Ahora sí veo el otro cargo, pero está bajo otro nombre. Ok, dice Alex Flores Morales.
Sí, correcto.
Yeah, that's correct.
And that's the failure to stop at a stop sign and not having a license.
Y estos son dos cargos, uno de no parar en el stop y el otro es de manejar sin licencia.
And the bond for the driving without a license is $1,000.
Entonces la fianza por manejar sin licencia es $1,000
And the bond for failure to stop at the stop sign is $500.
y el del stop, el de no parar en el stop, es $500.
For a total bond of $1,500.
Entonces el total de esa fianza es de $1,500.
Entonces serían $6,500 en total para salir.
So the total will be $6,500 to be able to get out.
That's correct.
Correcto.
No, está bien. Muchas
That's
gracias.
fine. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
You're welcome. You're free to go back, sir.
De nada, ya se puede retirar.
Okay, it looks like that's it, Miss Fitzgerald. You have a good day.
You too, Your Honor. Bye-bye. See you soon.
Goodbye. Okay, I'm ready to get started with the males. I mean, I'm sorry, the females.
Yes, we about to start. Yeah, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Tell me the name when you go up there.
Marion Beach.
Ma'am, you've been charged with one count of reckless conduct. I'm setting the bond at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
No.
I'm placing a stay away provision on this bond also to stay away from Franklin Beach.
Yes, sir. That house is my house. These is my name and my business is at my house. I have no family to stay with in the state of Georgia and he does. Is there a way that we could change that?
You can make arrangements with him where that he could leave based upon the allegation. That's why I put the stay away provision on this. If he says, I'm not leaving, I can't force him to leave because he is an alleged victim in this particular instance. So
Actually,
hopefully,
the house is in my parents' name, and so it's not even been through probate court yet.
I now understand that problem that causes. And
Then
that
I'll be able to work.
I understand that. It's the problem is that the allegations in here are things where he was alleged to have been a victim. And in the state of Georgia, they don't just put people out. Even if you were going to evict him, you would have to go through an eviction process. So you couldn't just force him out that day, even though it's your house. Once he establishes residency, he has a right to go through a legal process to be forced to move.
Okay, even though I couldn't press charges against him for assault afterwards. I mean, you know, when I was last night.
Well, and that's the thing. You can make that attempt. It becomes more difficult once the court sees that he is an alleged victim. So he would be the alleged victim in this particular case. And if you were to go and say you're going to try to press charges, it may be viewed as, hey, the officer didn't arrest him that night. So it may be viewed as sort of a situation of you're just trying to retaliate. And I don't know what happened,
We
but
have kids at home,
I
that's
was
why.
viewed. I'm sorry.
We have 2 children that were in the house.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, please.
You do qualify, ma'am, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for April 6th. That date will be waived upon your bonding out. As I indicated before, to the other person, you should contact the bonding companies that are authorized to write bonds here in Clayton County, because it's their job or their business to get people out of jail. So they'll work with people to help you get out. Do you have any questions of me? Any other questions?
No, sir. Is it okay if somebody out of state bonds you out?
The bonding company, some will do it, some will not. So you would just have to call and let them know. Okay?
Thank you,
Any
sir.
other questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Tell me your name, ma'am.
Andrea Bryant.
Ms. Bryant, you've been charged with 1 count of simple battery. I've put a $5,000 bond on this with the stay away provision, to stay away from Robert Pierre. And he's gonna have the same conditions on his bond. Do you believe you can post this bond, ma'am?
Yes,
Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
you can see if I qualify.
You do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're gonna have that preliminary date of April 6th also, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Tell me your name, ma'am.
Dana Hagwood.
Ms. Hagwood, you've been charged with 1 count of having a vehicle with defective equipment. The bond is gonna be set at $500 for that. You're gonna have a charge of driving under influence. The bond is gonna be set at $5,000 for that. Possession of marijuana less than an ounce, the bond is gonna be set at $1,500. And you have a child endangerment charge, with the allegation being that you're driving the vehicle with young children in the state that you shouldn't have been driving. So you have a total bond of $9,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, man?
No, sir.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Ms. Hagwood, you do qualify for the appointment of a lawyer. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date of April 6th, but that date will be waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Oh, I do have one question, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I was not under the influence. I was not drinking at all. Is there any way that can be proven? They gave me a breathalyzer, but it was my first time ever taking one, so I didn't blow correctly.
Okay.
I asked them to give me a blood test upon arrival to prove I had no liquor in my system, that they would not.
Well, I would encourage you to make sure that you tell the lawyer that information, because the lawyer is the person that will hopefully get these charges dismissed.
All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Can I be dismissed?
Yes, sir. I mean, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Are you Miss King?
Yeah.
Ms. King,
Pierre.
you've been charged with 1 count of driving a vehicle without a valid license. The bond is going to be set at $1,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, man?
Huh? I'm caught up. Wait, I'm confused. They said I got locked up for disorderly conduct.
Are you Courtney Sharice King?
No, my name's Pierre.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, Your Honor, I do apologize. Courtney has went home. She has been OTB. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry about that.
No problem. Ma'am, yes, 1 count of disorderly conduct. The bond is set at $1,500 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. We're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 6th. That date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, what's your question, ma'am?
The first question is, so when I do bond out, I leave, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the second question is, can I use the phone? Cause I ain't used the phone till I was in the upstairs.
Yes, ma'am. They will allow you to use the phone when you go back downstairs.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
One more question.
Yes, ma'am.
How much is the bond?
It's $1,500.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Give me 1 second, Deputy.
All right. You did it. You did it. You better go home, bitch.
Ma'am, I still got work.
He's put on hold.
No.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm ready for the next person.
Hello, Courtney Reed.
Ms. Reeves, you've been charged with 1 count of driving under the influence of alcohol to the extent that you're a less safe driver. The bond is going to be set at $5,000 for that. You're also charged with, it says failing to make an accident report. Bond is going to be set at $500, and an improper lane change. The bond is going to be set at $500 for a total bond of $6,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for April 6th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any questions of me?
So if I bind out, don't come on the 6th or still come on the 6th?
Don't come on the 6th if you bond out.
Okay.
Okay? You're welcome. Any other questions?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right, you're free to go back.
Hello,
Hi, tell me your name, ma'am.
Samantha Shea.
Ms. Shay, you've been charged with 2 counts of simple assault. I've set a $1,500 bond, $5 bond for each of those. And you're also charged with obstructing an officer. I've set a $3,000 bond for that. So you have a total bond of $6,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes, but will the bail bondsman, can you bail yourself out?
That's going to be a question that you're going to have to ask the sheriff's department. Is are you saying, can you pay it directly to the sheriff's department?
I don't know.
Okay, so basically, you have 3 options available to you. You can pay this entire bond amount in cash to the sheriff's department, and you'll get all of the money back when your case is over. Or you can go through a bonding company where you would call the varying bonding companies that are authorized to write bonds here, tell them your charges, and they'll tell you, and your bond amount, and they'll tell you what fee that they'll charge you in order for them to bond you out. And it's generally a percentage of the bond. Each one does it a little bit differently. So that's why I said you have to ask them. If you have property that is worth at least $18,000, you can use the property and put that up as collateral for your to bond out. And then it'll take the lien off the property when your case is over.
Okay.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for April 6th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. You do qualify, ma'am. So I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions of me?
And I'll get out today for sure, because I gotta go to work tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am. Just so what happens is when this whole hearing is over, I take all of the stuff that I've written down and I put it in order and I send it over to the sheriff's department and they start processing it. So you should, now that you know what bond you have set, you can start trying to make arrangements to have that that's said and done, so that when they're done with the paperwork, your arrangements have already been made and you can leave.
Okay,
Any other questions?
no, thanks.
Okay, you go back.
Ask him what. Yeah, I don't know what it says to ask him.
Your Honor, she lives in a different state.
I'm sorry?
I think she lives in a different state. She want to know how does she go about with that? Do she have to come back to Georgia after she bond out, or?
You can go back to your state, and when your case is set up and what they call accused, meaning they formally charged you, you'll receive the notice in the mail and you will have to come back. And sometimes, especially because of what's going on now, your lawyer may get the state to agree to waive your presence. So that means you don't have to come back at that time. But that's something that you have to ask for and get approval to not come back for your court date. If you don't come back for the court date, it'll get what's called a bench warrant will be issued. So make sure you come back. But that April 6th date is going to get waived when you bond out, okay?
Right, but I just talked to my lawyer about all this, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and he'll contact me?
Yes. So they're going to get a notice that they've been assigned to represent you. It's a law firm by the name of Lister, Lister, and Holt, Holt. They handle the misdemeanor cases. If you don't hear anything from them in a few days, you may want to pick up the phone book or Google them on a computer and call and just say, hey, you've been appointed to represent me. I need to speak to somebody about my case.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank
Any
you.
other questions?
No.
All right, you're free to go back. Tell me your name.
Courtney Schneider.
It's Shoemaker.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, you've been charged with one count of terrorist threats or act. I'm setting a bond at $5,000 for that, and I'm putting a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a Fabio Taylor.
Yes,
Do you
sir.
believe you can post this bond, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
I'd like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for April 5th at 8:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And it's going to be over a Zoom hearing like we're having here today.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tell me your name.
Joanna Ware.
I'm sorry, would you say that again?
Joanna Ware.
Yeah. Your Honor, I believe Romero went home.
Okay, that was going to be my,
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, Romero had went home.
okay. I don't have a bond order for Miss Ware. I see her on, let me see if she's on this calendar. I should have a bond order. I'm sorry, give me 1 second, ma'am.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Miss Ware. I've misplaced your paperwork apparently.
Mhm.
I'm gonna print it out again, so give me a second.
Okay. Let's go back to my seat.
I'm sorry, I'll deal with you. You're the last person on this side. So,
Your Honor, we have Ms. Williams.
okay, I'm sorry, Teresa Williams. I don't have a bond order or a warrant for Miss Ware.
I don't know, but the person that sent me to jail got in jail themselves, so I don't know what's going on.
Who is the other person?
His name is, I can't even think of his name right now. And it made me mad. I don't know. I can't think of his name right now.
Okay, give me 1 second, because that name, I think I
Trying to think
remember
of his
that
name.
name because I
Can't think of his name right now.
Stairway provision. Hold on 1 second.
Saved my life right now. Yeah, he was in jail last night. After I got in jail, he was in jail. So I don't understand why he'll call the cops and put me in jail, and he gonna be in jail too. That don't make no sense.
Okay. Miss Adamson, if you're listening, I don't have a warrant for Miss Ware. And I don't have a bond order. But she's on the.
Kevin, his name's Kevin. That's his name, Kevin. I don't know his last name, but his name's Kevin.
Is it Mr. Hackett, Kevin Hackett?
Yes, so. If he lives on Bryan Lane, that's him.
Yes. Huh. All right, I see this. So on the bond order, I have a Christopher Walker, Terrence Ward, Victor Wheeler, Teresa Williams, and Edwin Williamson. Those are the only W's that I have. So Ms. Ware, what we're gonna have to do is there's paperwork that stays with everyone so that I make the decision about the charges. And right now I can't make that decision because I don't have your paperwork. And it is you're on the list, you're on the calendar, so you're supposed to be here. But this happens sometimes. So what we'll do is we'll deal with Miss Teresa Williams, and then we'll come back to you, ma'am.
Today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ms. Williamson, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. I've put a $3,000 bond on this case, and I put a stay away provision for you to stay away from Terrence Ward. He's going to have the same bond amount, and he's going to have the same stay away provision. Do you believe you can post this bond, ma'am?
I do.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, please.
Okay. You do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 6th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
I do, because I think I know what criminal trespass means, but it's my property. So how can I get that charge?
Well, that could be a complete defense to the charges. If it's something, sometimes if you own property together, the way the law sees it is that if you damage the property, you've damaged the other person's half of the property also. So even if you have an ownership interest in it, it can be charged that way.
We don't. Like, the house is deeded to me.
Okay. Well, that is definitely something that you should let the lawyer know.
Okay.
You're not married to Mr. Ward, are you?
No.
Okay. So I've appointed a lawyer to represent you. You definitely should tell the lawyer that piece of information as quickly as possible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions, ma'am?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Let me ask, is Sequoia Patrick, is she OTB?
Patrick?
Yes.
I
Yes,
don't-
Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor, she's on TV.
Okay. I'm gonna, let's see. Miss Ware, apparently her paperwork may have been misplaced. Can you just, let's try to move on, but I'm gonna see if we can find her bond order, just so she's on the calendar, supposed to be here today. So that she's just not sitting in jail for no reason. And I know that's gonna cause a bit of a problem, because we're done with the ladies, but let's kind of keep her there, and I'll start with the men and possibly circle back to her if I can get the bond order by email. I'm sorry, not the bond order, the warrant. Tell me your name, sir.
State your name. State your name.
John Appeal.
Okay. Sir, you've been charged with 1 count of violation of the Controlled Substance Act. I'm setting the bond at $10,000 for that, and 1 count of tampering with evidence. I'm setting the bond at $5,000 for a total bond of $15,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
I don't know who. I don't know right now, sir.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify because you've been charged with felony offenses. You're going to have a bond date. I'm sorry, preliminary hearing date of April 5th at 8:30 in the morning, and that'll be over a Zoom hearing like we're having here today. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Abdul?
Why am I bond so high?
Because of the allegations in here with the appeals that looked like they were packaged for sale.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry.
You said package for sale?
Yes.
Oh, no. I don't sell drugs, sir.
Okay. I mean, I just told you why.
All right.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
You go back. You asked about it again.
Tell me your name, sir.
Baker, Jeffrey.
Mr. Baker, you've been charged with 1 count of violation of the Georgia Controlled Substance Act. I am unable to set a bond right now on this offense because there is an indication that you're still on probation, and I can't set bond for people with felony charges on probations at this stage. It doesn't mean that you won't get a bond. It's just I'm prohibited from setting a bond right now. Would you like for me to see if I can appoint a lawyer, or are you going to hire your own lawyer?
No, I'm representing myself.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 5th at 8:30 in the morning. I'm going to also set a bond hearing date for April 2nd. And that's also going to be at 8:30 in the morning.
All right.
And I don't know if you were told, but it's also said that, well, they may have told you about a warrant out of Fayette County.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Baker?
I mean, I can't think of any right now. Can I file for a fast and speedy trial?
Once your case is formally charged, yes, you can.
Okay, when is my case gonna formally be charged? After the preliminary here?
Probably that's the district attorney's office. They do that. So whenever they charge it, then that's when it goes.
All right, are you with the justice system?
I'm with the magistrate court of Clayton County.
So you're not with the US justice system, not part of that? Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.
Okay.
Hey, Troy Davis.
Okay. Mr. Davis, you've been charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and tampering with evidence. Just like with the last gentleman, there was an indication that you were still on probation. So I can't set a bond at this stage. Again, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get a bond. It's just I can't set a bond for you.
I do have a question about it.
Yes, sir.
You said a convicted felon. How so?
It says you're under first offender probation.
Okay.
That's a conviction. You're not allowed to possess a weapon while you're under first offender probation.
Okay.
Once you're done, you can.
Okay. And even if the gun wasn't on me, that has nothing to do with right now, right?
Right now, no. These are allegations.
Okay.
I did set a $5,000 bond on the tampering with evidence charge.
Okay.
Any other questions, sir?
So the gun charge is no bond.
Right now, but that can get changed.
And my question is, how quick could that get changed, and how could I be of assistance to get that changed?
So the district attorney's office, like through your lawyer, they can agree to it. They can agree to a consent bond and say, okay, we're going to let this person go. It's just this stage is the only stage that's prohibited. And basically, because there's such a quick turnaround, if you're on probation and your probation officer decides that they're going to revoke your probation, you go in and out, then now they're trying to find you.
Right.
So that's why they stop allowing judges to set bond for those offenses at this stage. So your probation officer may say, I don't care. This guy's been doing everything he needs to do. Do whatever you want to do. Or he may say, look, I want to revoke his probation, or I want to bring him back before the judge that put him on probation. So that's the basic reasoning behind it. Yes, sir.
Okay, so my last question is, 9 times out of 10, I need to get in touch with my probation officer.
Yes, that should be the first step.
All right, and they'll go ahead and do everything else. I have nothing else to worry about.
Okay. I'm going to set a bond hearing date for April 2nd, also just to set that date. But like I said before, this is something that could get consented to before then, and you can get a bond and get out.
Thank you a lot.
Okay, you're welcome.
Do I get a court-appointed lawyer? And that's my last.
Yes, I did appoint a lawyer to represent you.
Thank you a lot.
Okay. Let's pause on the mail side for a second. Ms. Ware's paperwork has come through. So, all right, Ms. Ware, I'm printing it out now. All right, I'm gonna set a bond of $1,500 for you, ma'am. Do you believe you can post that bond?
No.
Would you like for me to appoint a lawyer to represent you?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You do qualify. And I'm going to do a bond order for you. I would encourage you, ma'am, to contact the bonding companies here because their business is getting people out of jail. And so at least contact them and tell them what your bond is and see if they'll work with you.
That's
Okay.
one.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 6th at 8:30 in the morning. And that's going to be over Zoom hearing like we're having here today. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
So it's $1,500.
Yes, ma'am.
Yo, ladies.
So if I pay that, do I have to go to court?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
You'll get a notice of a new court date later. But this is something that, because of this charge, that may get something that gets worked out relatively quickly.
Okay, so this has a potential of going to trial.
If you choose to take it to trial, yes.
What happens when it goes to trial?
Only two things happen. Either you're found guilty or you're found not guilty.
So it will be in front of a juror, or is it just a judge?
That's a choice that you can get to make. You can say, I want a jury, or you can say, I want a judge.
Okay. So, if I get the bond, if I call the people to bail me out, and what would be the percentage of that bond?
Each bonding company is different, but it'll probably be between $150, $200. Some bonding companies, they'll put you on a payment plan.
Why is the bond so high?
It's actually, I said it low. I don't think you may not have heard, but the other people with criminal trespass charges, I've set the bond at $3,000.
I've been to jail before, and I've only had to pay like $200 to get out. So that's why I'm asking.
Okay.
That's all I have to ask.
Okay, you're free to go back, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is it, Your Honor?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you for your patience.
Of course. I see you.
All right, go down, go down. Go down, sir.
Tell me your name, sir.
Eddie Ellis.
Mr. Edwards, you've been charged with 1 count of improper turn signal, 1 count of aggressive driving, and 1 count of possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute. I've set the bond for the 2 driving related offenses at $500 each, and I've set the bond for the marijuana, possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute at $10,000. So you have a total bond of $11,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir. What it comes to, like 1,100?
Roughly. Like I said before, the bonding companies will tell you exactly what they'll charge.
Yes, sir. I can post it.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for April 5th at 8:30 in the morning. And that's going to be over Zoom hearing like we're having here today. And on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Right now, because I'm qualified for one.
Okay. You do qualify, Mr. Edwards. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
Oh, no, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello, tell me your name, sir.
David Profana.
Sir, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree. I've set the bond at $5,000, and I've also put a stay away provision on your bond to stay away from a Sinead Fofana. ZAINAB. Do you believe you can post this bond, sir?
Is there any way I can sign and then pay the money? Because I don't have access to my phones now.
Okay, so your bond is going to be set at $5,000, and you can post that in a number of different ways. And I don't understand when you're saying about for it to be held until tomorrow.
No, like if I can get a way wherein I can sign papers and then get access to my phones and pay the bond.
You're going to need to ask the sheriff's department personnel about that. They're the ones that deal with like the steps that are needed for you to actually bond out. And so just ask them if you can do that, and they'll tell you whether it is allowed or not.
Okay, so if it's not allowed, then I cannot make a phone call or anything like that as well, right?
You will be allowed to use the phone. The bonding company, like if you call a bonding company and you said, look, I have the money, I just don't have access to it. They may come and have you sign some kind of financial document indicating that you promise that you're going to make the payments or you're going to pay it, and then they'll help you get out. Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yes, sir. Is there any way you can fast track the trial?
So the speedy trial right doesn't begin to run until you've actually been formally charged. You're charged with an offense that the state has up to 4 years to formally charge you. If you have a lawyer and you're working with your lawyer, this is something where it may get fast tracked through the lawyer and the prosecutor agreeing to fast track it. But those are things that they're going to be in charge of, not me. Now, do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Can you please see if I qualify?
Okay. I'm going to find that you qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions of me?
So if I can settle the bond, then I'll be able to leave today?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, sir. And
okay, you're welcome. You're free to go back.
Okay.
Tell me your name, sir.
Tommy George.
Mr. George, you've been charged with 1 count of family violence battery.
Sir?
Tell me how old you are, sir.
Sir?
Well, let me ask you this. Is your birth date 1965? Birth year, sorry.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. You just looked a lot younger.
Sir?
You've been charged with 1 count of family violence battery. I'm setting the bond at $5,000, and I'm putting a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Tommy A. George. Do you believe you can post this bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Please don't qualify for.
Okay. You do qualify, Mr. George. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for April 6th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Tell me your name, sir.
David Garcia.
Mr. Garcia, you've been charged with 1 count of obstructing an officer and 1 count of theft by shoplifting. I've set the bond for the obstructing an officer charge at $2,000, and I'm also setting the bond for the shoplifting at $2,000 for a total bond of $4,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date that's gonna be set for April 6th, but that date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I'd like to see if I qualify for one.
Okay. You do qualify, Mr. Garcia. I'm appointing a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
4,000 total.
Yes, sir. Now, there are fees that the sheriff's department is required to add. So it's going to be a little bit more than 4,000, but it's not going to be that much more.
If I'm calling somebody to bond me out, probably.
Yes, sir. You'll be allowed to use the phone when you go back down.
All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Have your name, sir?
Dominic.
Mr. Gay, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, setting the bond at $3,000. And I'm putting a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a LaQuantica Lamar. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for April 6th, but that date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
See, do I qualify?
You do qualify, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me? Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right, thank you.
Have your name, sir?
Kevin Hackett.
Mr. Hackett, you've been charged with 1 count of maintaining a disorderly house. The bond is set by schedule at $1,000 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond?
No, sir.
Right. Hold on 1 second. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 6th, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out.
Sure.
I interrupted you. What question did you have?
Sir, you actually could have make the bond amount I could, and you say that bond amount is how much?
It's set by schedule, which means it's automatically set at $1,000.
Yes, sir. I can make that.
Okay. Do you have any other questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you, sir.
Tell me your name, sir.
DeAndre Harley.
Mr. Harley, you've been charged with several driving related offenses and 1 possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Bond is going to be set at $1,500 for the marijuana charge. Bond is going to be set at $1,500 for the use or possession of drug related objects. Driving on a suspended license, the bond is going to be set at $1,500, and driving a vehicle with an open container of alcohol, the bond is set at $500. So that's a total bond of $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for April 6th, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Own lawyer.
Okay. Do you have any other questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
How you doing, Your Honor? Marvin Holloway.
Mr. Holloway, you've been charged with 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of battery, and 1 count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. I'm not allowed to set a bond on the aggravated assault charge at this hearing. But I have set bond at $5,000 for the battery and $5,000 for the cruelty to children. There's gonna be a stay away provision that's gonna be added here to stay away from Shannon Woodbury. I'm gonna set a preliminary hearing date for April 5th at 8:30 in the morning, and I'm also gonna set a bond hearing date for April 2nd. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Holloway. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
I was wondering why I didn't qualify, why I couldn't get a bond for the ag right now.
The aggravated assault charge is one where I cannot set a bond at this stage for that offense. It doesn't mean you can't get a bond for it. It's just I can't do it.
Okay.
All right, you're free to go back. Tell me your name, sir.
Anthony.
Okay. Holt Jr.?
Yeah.
Sir, you've been charged with one count of theft by shoplifting. I set the bond at $2,000. One count of disorderly conduct. Set the bond at $1,500. One count of possession of a handgun by a person under the age of 21. I set a bond at $5,000 for that. And one count of possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. And I've also set the bond at $5,000. So you're going to have a preliminary hearing that's going to be set for April 5th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. Do you believe you can post the bond, sir? It's going to be a total bond of $13,000. Okay.
No.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Holt. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
How you doing, sir? Anthony Mason.
I'm doing fine. Mr. Mason, you've been charged with one count of simple battery. Set the bond at $5,000 for that. One count of possession of firearm by a convicted felon. I've set the bond at $15,000 for that. And one count of possession of firearm or discharging a firearm in a close proximity to a highway. I've set the bond at $2,500. So you got a total bond of $22,500. You believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Setting a preliminary hearing date for April 5th at 8:30 in the morning. That'll be over Zoom hearing like we're having here today. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Are you going to hire your own or are you going to represent yourself?
You can see if I'm qualified for one. I won't be able to make the date that you are gonna set because I'm gonna get post bail once I use telephone.
Okay. You do qualify. We're going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Mason?
Oh, sir, thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're free to go back. Tell me your name, sir. Sir, I am dismissing this charge. The victim was not named in this warrant, so that's a technical defect. It doesn't mean this charge can't be brought back, but right now, because they didn't list the victim in this case, I have to dismiss the charge. So you'll be free to go. You're welcome. Are you Mr. Nelson?
No, Gabriel P.
Okay, Mr. Pitts. Mr. Pitts, you've been charged with one count of obstructing an officer. I've set the bond at $1,500 for that. Do you believe you can post this bond?
Yes, sir.
You plan on Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Qualify.
Find out.
You do qualify, Mr. Pitts. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date of April 6th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have questions, any questions for me, sir?
Sure.
Okay, you're free to go back.
How you doing, sir? Ricky Nelson.
Mr. Nelson, your charge also is going to be dismissed because there's not a victim named in the warrant. So when you get back down and they process this, you're going to be free to go. But it's it's a technical defect, which means they can
brought back up
back if they want to. Okay.
Gotcha.
All right, you're free to go back.
How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine. Tell me your name, sir.
My name is Robert Pierre.
Mr. Pierre, you've been charged with theft by receiving stolen property. And the stolen property being a firearm. I'm setting the bond at $10,000 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
See if I qualify.
You do qualify, Mr. Pierre, so I'm appointing the lawyer to represent you. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for April 5th. This is a felony charge that you've been charged with. It's gonna be at 8:30 in the morning. It's gonna be over hearing like we're having here today. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Pierre?
For the most part, you said I just got that theft by receiving. So,
Right, you just have one charge of theft by receiving stolen property being a firearm.
you said 10,000, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
You're free to go back. Have your name, sir?
Zara Simmons.
Okay. Give me 1 second, Mr. Simmons. Mr. Simmons, I'm gonna ask you to step back. I don't see your paperwork. You're on my calendar. Ms. Adamson, if you're listening, I have on my paperwork, I have Samantha Shea, and then it goes to Kenneth Spruill. I don't have a bond order for Mr. Simmons, but he is on the calendar. His warrant number is 2021 WA 04195 and 196 and 197. Tell me your name, sir.
Kenneth Spruill.
Okay. Mr. Spruill, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. I'm setting the bond at $3,000, but I'm putting a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a Miss Kendra Simmons. Do you believe you can post that bond?
No, not right now.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Kendra Simmons already had a stay away order. So how am I mean, I'm not understanding how she's not violating her stay away order and you're giving me a stay away order.
I wasn't there, sir. If she had a stay away provision, then something should have been done. Did you tell the officer that?
Yes, I told her multiple times.
Okay.
Every time she called the police on me, I told her she had a stay away order.
Do you share this apartment with her?
Yes, I was sharing the apartment with her for 4 months after her stay away order. We have a child on the way after the stay away order.
Okay. What I'm gonna ask of you, Mr. Spruill, is, well, first of all, would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yeah, please.
Approximately how much do you make per month?
About 1,600.
Okay. So you qualify, I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. What I need for you to do is, if you and Miss Simmons are going to continue living together, there's going to have to be something done about the stay away provision. If she had a stay away provision where she was supposed to stay away from you, she shouldn't have been around you. And if you believed that stay away provision was needed, you probably shouldn't be living together. And I know that's easy to say and probably hard to do given the current state of today. But that's what gets you in kind of these sort of situations. And it happens to people a lot, because everything's happy when it's happy, but then when things are not happy, this kind of stuff takes place. So please speak to the lawyer about your circumstance and about what you need to do, okay? We set a preliminary hearing date for April 6th.
April 6th?
Yes, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out.
How am I bonded out? They done took my girlfriend from me.
They did what?
Nothing. How am I gonna get bonded out? I don't have nobody to contact.
You don't have any family?
Yes, but I can only. I don't got any more questions.
Okay, you're free to back. Tell me your name, sir.
Joseph Stewart.
Mr. Stewart, you've been charged with 2 counts of simple battery and 1 count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. I've set the bond for the first simple battery at $5,000, and the second simple battery is $2,500. And the third charge, the cruelty to children, I've set a bond at $2,500. So you have a total bond of $10,000. But I've placed a stay away provision on your bond to stay away from Deborah Stewart. Do you believe you can post this bond, sir?
I guess my wife, we just got married, okay? And we had our grandkids over. And all I did was spank them. Okay, he took his tray of food and threw it away, threw it on the floor and stuff. All right, and I don't know about what this other battery stuff is.
So the two charges, one, it says that you kicked Deborah Stewart, and the second one said you kicked Jemiah Smith, kicked him in the leg several times.
Oh, I didn't.
Mr. I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
Okay.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes,
okay.
Please.
You do qualify, Mr. Stewart. So I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. The lawyer is the person that you need to tell about kind of the facts of what happened so that the lawyer can represent you and represent your interests.
How long will it take for the appointment?
Well, the paperwork goes over today, and the law firm will be Lister and Holt, H-L-I-S-T-E-R, last word, Holt, H-O-L-T. If they don't, today is Monday, if you don't hear from them within the next couple of days, I would call the law firm and let them know that they've been appointed to represent you, and that you need to speak to someone about your case.
Okay.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date of April 6th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any other questions for me, Mr. Stewart?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Tell me your name, sir.
Right, Terrell.
Mr. Terrell, you've been charged with a number of offenses, speeding, bond is $500, fleeing from police officer, bond is going to be set at $10,000, DUI, alcohol, to the extent that you're a less safe driver, the bond is going to be set at $5,000, reckless driving, $5,000, improper lane change and too fast for conditions, the bond is going to be set at $500 each for those charges. Obstructing an officer, the bond is going to be set at $5,000, and an open container, the bond is going to be set at $500. That's a total bond of $31,500. I'll give you a second to talk. You're going to have a preliminary hearing that's going to be set for April 6th. That date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Now, what was your question, sir?
Yes, sir. The officer, he picked up that can off the ground where he tagged me in the back here. I was fleeing from being robbed at the morning exit. Two guys pulled up on me with their lights on, telling me to get out the car, but 3 doors came open. So I proceeded to get to safety, and that's when your officer seen me. But when he came, he never did ask me. And if you can see my my setup, I'm a truck driver. I had no reason to run from him. I was running from the situation that came in hand when I was on the side of the highway. So on command, when the officer got out the car, sir, I'm asking him what he wants me to do. I'm on my stomach. He still he shot me in the back with his taser, and he started punching me in the back of the head after he's doing it. I'm not refusing. I wasn't going anywhere. I just was scared for my life. The guy didn't even ask me why or anything. He just started beating on me. Like, the other guys got here and they was like, why you doing him like that? He was saying that something, I don't know what he was saying, but I never tried to run from him. I respected him completely. I was trying to tell him what was going on and why I was going that fast. I was thinking he was the same car with the same lights on, so, that's how I got in this situation, because if you can see, I got my CDLs. I don't need none of that. I take care of my family this way. But at the time when I was inside the express where they pulled up, And the 3 doors open when they pulled up, and they was like, you get out on the ground. That's what they were telling me. But I knew there wasn't no police. I knew there wasn't. That's the reason I got, where I'm at. And I'm saying all this because I do need to go back to work, and I do think that bond is a little high for, for me just trying to simply take care of my life.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna change the bond amount. I can see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer, and the lawyer can be the person that advocates on your behalf.
Can I make a motion for dismissal?
When you get to that stage, yes. Remember, I said, I'm not here to try your case. I'm here to set bond, set a date for a preliminary hearing, to appoint a lawyer. Those are the things that I'm here for.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you broke up.
The officer was nasty. He really trying to be nasty. That's not even half of what went on. He just put all that stuff down at he really
Mr. Terrell, I'm not gonna lower the bond amount. This is something that can get changed. If everything that you're saying is true, when it gets to that stage, whether you're actually looking at this, then yeah, right now it's a one-sided deal. I'm reading what is being sworn to me in this warrant, and I'm hearing what you're saying, and I take both as being true. And so that's what I'd look at when I'm posting setting a bond amount. So I would have encouraged you, based upon what you said to me, that you should have dialed 911, and there would have been a record that you can point to and say, hey, somebody just tried to rob me.
That was behind on the expressway, they was behind me at the time, and then when I pulled off and got to the next exit, your guy pulled up. I never had time. I was in pursuit, and I guess he seen me, your officer, he didn't see them behind me.
Okay.
He came for me.
Okay.
And I'm thinking at the same time, this is the same people behind me, because what he said was, but okay, I do understand. So the set bond is how much?
31,500.
So the percentage of that, you can't tell me that.
Well, I can't. The bonding company is the people that will tell you what they'll charge you. And like I said before, they'll even put you on a payment plan, but you got to call them and you got to make those arrangements.
I would.
Okay. You're free to go back. Tell me your name, sir. Okay, sir, you've been charged with 1 count of driving on a suspended license and 1 count of obstructing or having your display obstructed on your tag. So
yeah, that was in the window.
Okay, the bond is going to be set. Total bond of $2,000, $1,500 for the driving on a suspended license, and $500 for the other charge. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
No, sir. I'm not from here.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. You do qualify, Mr. Vaughn. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. And like I told the other gentleman, I would call the bonding companies to see what they're willing to do to work with, to work with you. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for April 6th, but that date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
Yes, I proceeded to call a few bonding companies before I actually got put into the tank, I think it's called. But I called when I was down in processing, and they told me that I wouldn't. They can't let me post 10% because I'm not from here, so I'm considered a flight risk. And I don't have the whole thing to pay for the bond, but I can pay the 10%. I don't know, what am I supposed to do? I was supposed to be at work at FedEx today, And my son is actually back in Columbus as well. I came down here to get the rest of his things because he was down here with my family member because I lost him a couple of years ago. So I was just trying to come back and get everything, all his stuff together, and then this happened on my way back out of town.
Okay. What you may want to try to do is that if every bonding company tells you they're not going to post a bond, sometimes bonding companies will work with other bonding companies. So if you contact a bonding company from back home and make arrangements there, they can then contact the bonding company here and make arrangements so that you get bonded out.
They could do that?
Yes, they'll work together sometimes, but the way that it generally works is that each county, the bonding company is allowed by the sheriff to write the bond for that county. So if you're running into that obstacle, you may want to, again, contact someone at home with the bonding company there to see if they're willing to make arrangements here. Okay.
I could try to do that. I just haven't been able to use the phone. And then as far as my, like, I don't know, like, am I going to be able to use, well, you probably won't be able to tell me that too. What was my bond again one more time?
The total bond is $2,000.
Total bond is $2,000. Okay.
And it'll be a little bit higher because the sheriff's department is required by law to add fees to the bond.
Okay. And you said go ahead and try to contact someone from the out of town, contact somebody from Columbus where I live and see if they can work with somebody here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How would I don't know if you know, but how would I go about being able to see which bonding companies work with the ones here?
You're gonna have to make those arrangements. You're gonna have to call them. And like the best thing is have a family member back home to do that. So they can make phone calls a lot easier than you'll be able to, but that's the general process.
Okay, then if I'm not able to post bond, I'll have to sit until April 6th.
Yes, these charges are charges that most likely your lawyer will be able to work with the prosecutor's office and make arrangements. I mean, these aren't the biggest crimes in the world. Okay?
Okay.
Anything else?
No, I'm fine.
You're free to go back.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Tell me your name, sir.
Mr. Walker, sir.
Mr. Walker.
Yes, sir.
You've also been charged with a number of offenses. You have 2 drug-related offenses. And I've set the bond at $15,000 apiece for those. You have a possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. I've set the bond at $10,000 for that. Use or possession of drug-related objects. I've set the bond at $1,500. Driving on a suspended or revoked license. I've set the bond at $1,500. And it says dangerous drugs, but it's looks like it's having what they believe to be drugs that's in a container that's not approved for the drug. So that's a total bond of $48,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
No, sir.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Walker. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Because of these felony charges, you're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 5th at 8:30 in the morning. And I'm going to also set a bond date for April 2nd in case you're unable to bond out.
One more question, sir. I know you can't answer this, but the car is not my car and the drugs was in a purse. The the pistol mine and the driving on license, and I wasn't driving. They just happened to blow out on me at the car while I was pumping gas. Still nothing you can do about that.
Well, no. Now that may be something that could lead to these charges being dismissed later. But at this stage, there's the legal principle is basically called equal access. Okay.
I understand.
But I wouldn't get in the car with that person ever again.
Nah, it was, yeah, true.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions?
That's all, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Tell me your name, sir.
Terrence Ward.
Mr. Ward, you're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. I've set the bond at $3,000. And I put a stay away provision on the bond, stay away from Teresa Williams. Gave her the same bond amount and put a stay away provision for her to stay away from you. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself? Or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I have one.
I'm sorry?
I have one, a lawyer. I have one.
Okay. Who's your lawyer?
Danielle Ward, I think.
Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for April 6th, but that date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Ward?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Tell me your name, sir.
Edwin Williamson.
Mr. Williamson, you've been charged with 1 count of simple battery. I put a $5,000 bond on this, but I've also put a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Zanaya Burton and Jamie Boylan. Do you believe you can post this bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand the stay away provision?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for April 6th. So that date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
See if I qualify.
Okay.
But I got a question.
Yes, sir.
She told him that ain't nothing happened, so she really ain't no big. I'll go about that.
Well, she's gonna get a lawyer and you're gonna get a lawyer, and your lawyers need to talk, and then they can speak to the solicitor.
Right, because she said ain't nothing happened, but they just went ahead and did what they did.
Well, believe it or not, that happens a lot. Okay. So any other questions, sir?
Can she be able, once I do this bond or whatever, can she be able to like call somebody and let them know, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
There ain't no victim or whatever the case may be. Who?
When we're saying about the nothing happened part, or what is it that she would be calling to say?
No, because she was like, y'all have to stay away from Jamie Boylan or whatever. That's my girlfriend or whatever. She was letting them know that I don't have to stay away because ain't nothing, she ain't, you know what I'm saying? It was just a little fussing and stuff.
Well, okay, in that regard, it would be the solicitor's office.
Solicitor's office?
The Clayton County Solicitor General's office.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything?
Okay, cool.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right.
Mr. Wheeler?
No, sir, Mr. Simmons.
Mr. Simmons.
Okay. I have a Victor Wheeler. Is he?
We're bringing him down. We're bringing him down now, y'all.
Okay, I'm looking. Let me check my email. I still don't have Mr. Wheeler's bond sheet, warrant. Sorry.
Is that Simmons?
Simmons.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Simmons. I still don't have his bond order. I mean, his warrant. So I can't do anything without your paperwork.
So I'm just stuck in here?
No, I've sent the message over the sheriff's department, just so you understand. When you
I
get
know
arrested,
the fact that I have a bond though, because I got three misdemeanor charges.
okay, Mr. Simmons, are you ready to listen to me?
Yes, I
So
am.
when you get arrested, the sheriff's department gives the paper, I mean, the police department or whoever arrested you, give paperwork to the sheriff's department. They prepare it, and then they send it to me. In the stack of paperwork that I got this morning, even though you're on the calendar, your two warrants are not there. So I know what you're charged with, but I don't know what happened. So before I set a bond, I gotta be able to know what happened. There was another young lady where that happened earlier today, and they sent the paperwork over and I was able to deal with it. The paperwork is there. I know it's there.
Yes, I'm saying though, I know that you could get it, but I was saying like I wanted it by today because I know I could get out by today and I have a child that I have to go home to.
So, Mr. Simmons, I have requested that it comes. I just got a note from one of the persons over there in the sheriff's department, and she's looking for it, okay? So once she finds it, we'll get it.
You got an interpreter for when, Yon?
I don't have an interpreter for Mr. Nguyen. I was told that because he speaks Vietnamese, that I would have to get an interpreter. The interpreter has been requested, but it's going to take until tomorrow. So I was going to try to see if I could speak to him, just so he's not sitting here, because he just has one battery charge. So, Mr. Nguyen, can you understand me?
A little bit.
Okay. So what I'm going to try to do is explain to you these charges. And if you don't understand, let me know and we will get an interpreter for you, okay? But we don't have an interpreter on staff, which means the earliest that the interpreter can come will be tomorrow. So I'm going to try to speak to you so that you can understand your bond amount and that you can get out today and not have to wait until tomorrow, okay?
Yes.
So you've been charged with 1 count of battery, and that basically means that you hit a Tam Win.
Yeah, my wife.
Okay. And so the officer apparently saw enough to arrest you, okay? Your bond is going to be set at $5,000. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. You're going to have a hearing date that's going to be set for April 6th, but that date is going to go away once you bond out. Do you understand that?
Would you please say again? Say again.
Okay. At this stage, you're given a hearing date, but that date goes away once you leave jail and you'll get a new date in the mail.
I have to go to Yale that I knew this.
Yes, it will come in the mail. You're also being given a stay away provision, which means you're to stay away from your wife for the time being. Do you understand that?
I have to stay away from her right now.
Yes, but that date can get changed. I mean, I'm sorry, that provision to stay away from your wife can get changed if she contacts the solicitor's office, meaning the prosecutor, and let them know that she's not afraid of you. Okay?
That's when I'm not a freedom, right? Or to stay with her. Go back to stay with her, right?
For the time being, no. But that provision can get changed, and then you can move back in. Okay? But she has to be the person that is comfortable with that. Okay? Would you like for me to appoint a lawyer to represent you?
The lawyer,
Right.
no, but I don't have I don't have the money to pay the lawyer.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to assign a lawyer to represent you for free, okay?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Nguyen, do you feel like you've understood everything that I've told you?
Not all, only half.
Would you like for me to bring the interpreter, bring you back tomorrow for the interpreter?
Tomorrow I have to come back here.
Unfortunately, you would have to stay here until tomorrow. Or, and I hate to say it this way because it really makes it appear as though you're having to choose between getting out and having an interpreter, but I want to make sure that you understand. Okay? So, do you believe that you understood enough here today for me to let you?
Yeah, you told me you have to pay the bond 5,000, right?
Yes, sir.
Then I go home. I can stay with my wife, right?
No.
No. Yes.
That'll have to get changed. Now, it could get changed tomorrow. If she contacts the solicitor's office, the Clayton County Solicitor General's office, she's a victim in this case. And if she said, look, I'm not afraid of my husband or whatever, then they may remove that provision and allow you to go back home. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions, Mr. Nguyen?
Okay, I want to stay here because I want to clearly. Because, well, yesterday I called her. I say, I'm sorry. I don't know. That time I don't know because my wife, she hit me a couple of times. I say no more. She still to do it. Then I don't know. I so quick and so quick. That's the one touch her face. That's why I stop blood. I scared, but I already did. Usually I organize with her. She hit me. I'm okay. I'm okay. I don't do it. I don't know. This time I don't know why I did that.
Okay.
I swear I don't wanna hit the woman. But I lived with her 4 years. Every time other man she hit me. I'm okay. I'm okay. I don't know why. I asked her no more. Don't hit me no more. She hit me here, then she hit me here. I say no more. I still keep doing it. That's the one when we show the phone together, then I hold the phone, then I touch.
Okay, Mr. Nguyen, let me ask you this question.
Yes.
Do you want to stay here until tomorrow so that there will be an interpreter?
Yeah, yesterday I called her. I talked to her. She said okay. She want to bail me out.
Okay, let me ask you this question again, Mr. Nguyen. Do you want to stay here until you can have the interpreter tomorrow, or do you feel comfortable enough with this hearing that you feel like you understand?
I do understand right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you go back, Mr. Nguyen, and you can post your bond, okay? All right. Any more questions, sir?
How I pay the money?
bonding company is generally the least expensive way. If you own your own property and the property is worth at least $15,000, you'll be able to use the property as collateral to bond out.
But I don't have any the property. I have no money in the bank, and probably I have no nothing. How can I pay?
A bonding company, you can pay the entire amount, which you've said you don't have the money to do that. Or if you own your own home, you can use your home.
No, I don't have a house. I don't have nothing.
Okay.
That's why I have to get out and looking for the job. I have no job right now. I have been sick for 5 weeks. That's why now I get better. I have to go get a job.
Okay, I'm sorry. Mr. Nguyen, that's something as a judge, I have to post a set of bond. So I can't really, all I can advise you is that get family or friends to help you.
Because my life, I travel to work a lot. I don't have friends right now.
Okay, I honestly, Mr. Nguyen, I don't, there's not much else I can do.
Thank you.
Okay, you're free to go back. We have Mr. Simmons' paperwork. Okay, Mr. Simmons, I'm gonna set a bond at $5,000 for the felony shoplifting. For the possession of marijuana less than an ounce, the bond is automatically set at $1,500. And for the disorderly conduct, I'm gonna set a bond of $2,000. So you're gonna have a total bond of $8,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date that's gonna be set for April 5th at 8:30 in the morning. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Simmons. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. We have one person in isolation. Okay. Tell me your name, sir.
Jacques Cabell.
Okay. You've been charged with one count of criminal trespass. The bond is going to be set at $3,500 for that, and one count of disorderly conduct. I'm setting the bond at $1,500. So that's a total bond of $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out how do I get charged with criminal trespassing, and that is my house, and the damage that the cops seen was damage that I proved that I could prove, that I told them that I could prove that we got in a car accident in December, and it was that was a part of the accident, and then they said my window was shattered, which I didn't do. My wife even said I didn't do it, and then we just told them that that we just had to kick people out the house. We had to kick some people out the house, and then one of the dudes that we kicked out was trying to date my fiance at the time or whatever, and he came back to get the rest of his stuff, and I think he was trying to make up with her, and he saw that I was back at the house, and then once he left out, and then me and her, he heard us arguing or whatever, and then he left out, and then once I left out like 10 minutes behind him, that's when the glass was broken and everything, and then I was trying to explain that, and I also have a ring camera that I was trying to show to the police to show them to prove my innocence, but they didn't want to look at it. Now, the disorderly conduct, I understand that because I did get a little disrespectful with the cops. Once I told them, can one of us check on our baby? So we had a 7-month-old baby, and they said no. So I did get frustrated, and then I did have words with the cops with that. So I understand the disorderly conduct, but the criminal trespass, I just don't understand that one right there. And I had proof, like I got a vivid camera that's on my doorbell, and it shows everything that happens in my front yard. And they didn't even want to look at it. And my wife also came up to the jail to write a statement and everything too. Like,
well, that's going to be something that's going to have to get worked out later than today. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I got a lawyer.
Okay. Do you have any questions of me?
No, so you said it was 5,000 and how much?
The total bond is 5,000, but it's going to be a little bit more once the fees are added.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Nah, no, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right.
Have your name, sir?
My name is Victor Wheeler, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Wheeler, you've been charged with 1 count of reckless conduct and 1 count of discharging a firearm near a highway. I've set the bond for each of the offenses at $5,000. I'm sorry, $5,000 for the reckless conduct, $2,500 for the discharge of the firearm.
Yes, sir.
Total bond of $7,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Sir, I made a mistake on the on my paperwork, and I put because I do DoorDash, and however much I make throughout the week, that's how much I make a week.
Okay.
So I didn't want to put a direct amount. That's why I put not a lot.
Okay. Can you just give me like a rough estimate?
I mean, because it varies. Like on one day, I can make $500 to $600 a day, and then on some days, if it's slow, I can make $200 to $100, or you know what I'm saying. But the most I've made in one day is $800, okay. And that's me going out from 6 in the morning to about 3 o'clock at night.
Okay, so would 1,500 be a good estimate per month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My bad.
You do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 6th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any questions of me, Mr.
No,
Wheeler?
sir. Thank you
Okay,
very
you're free to go back.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Miss anybody here? Mr. Larry?
I have a Mr. Gary or Gray, but it looks like he may be OTB.
He's on OTB, yes, sir.
Okay. I think that is it.
All right, Your Honor.